Yes.
So welcome you to the second day of the program. Yesterday you worked with a lot of data and repos. I'm a data librarian, and so I would like to talk to you this morning about the data that you're facing, because on that data that all of your work will depend. So first of all, there's a couple of points I'd like to make. And also, if during the day you would like to send me an email or get your mentors to contact you, I'm very, very happy to help you sift through the kind of data. So the first point that I want to make is we have some beautiful, very clean data sets, and those data sets are from the HSRC. They've been worked on extensively. We really trust them. They have great geographical frameworks, and many of them are freely available, and they are on education. So I urge you to look at the HSRC. The second thing that I'd like to point out is just because you're sitting in South Africa and you're doing work on South Africa doesn't mean that the problem that you're facing might be unique to South Africa. So if you've got data set, but you need a test data set, I want to urge you to look internationally. You've been given a list of the repos of repos, I'm sure, which is R3. But in particular, I urge you to look at the University of Michigan's data sets in the IPSCAR database for the standardized tests. And I also urge you to look at open data from around Africa, not just Southern Africa, even Francophone Africa, Portuguese-speaking Africa. We are not as unique as many people often feel that we are. Kenya's had major trouble regulating and talking about education. So I urge you to become broader in your data set acquisition, and also to look at the quality of those data sets that you're about to work with. Basically, good luck, because what you're doing is really intense. To take data, to go from a point of data to a point where that data is now usable is something that many academics can spend 3 to 4 years doing. You're doing it in 3 to 4 days. So if this feels overwhelming or difficult, if it feels like you can't make sense of anything, I urge you to use your metadata. Metadata is the key. Metadata is the catalog. Metadata is the metadata is the headings and the titles. And I urge you to be sure to understand what that metadata actually is. So don't just assume that a pass is a pass. Find out if it's 50% or 60% or 30%. And that's where we are, really. Basically, good luck. I think that just about everybody is here now. As a data librarian, can I urge you again, use lots of data, use clean data, understand your data, understand the limits of that data, and start making that data useful. Go forth and conquer. And that's it from me. I think it's Nombole now.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I will just be going through what is expected for the presentation on the final day. Could Enfam and Claude just assist with admitting people, because I won't be able to do that while I'm presenting. Thanks, Claude. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay, so let me just jump right into it. So this presentation will be looking at two things. So what we expect for the Datathon presentation and basically general presentation guidelines. So for the Datathon, what do you need to include in your slides? So firstly, you need to give us a background to your problem. So you need to tell us, what is basically the reason that you have decided to choose this problem. And you do that by just giving us insights into the problem. You state your problem statement. So there you define what your problem is and its relevance and also its relevance to the theme. You give us your project objectives. So what at the end are you trying to achieve? So what is the aim of your project and what are you trying to achieve with your project? You then specify your study area if you need to, so the scope. So even though you might have a big problem, but you are specifically focusing on a portion of that problem, so you can let us know, what is that scope? What is that study area of your chosen problem? You then can talk to us about your methodology. So that is the research process that you went through in terms of from the beginning when you were identifying your problem up until you came up with your solution. You can then talk to us about your data sources that you are using towards your solution, and also how you went about analyzing your data and the results that you have found. Then, if you have developed some sort of solution, you can then demo that proposed solution. And then, of course, you have to close your whole presentation. So you do that with a conclusion and you provide any recommendations or maybe future work. So in future work, you specify maybe things that you couldn't achieve during the Datathon, and maybe these can be items that you might do in the future, or maybe someone else would be interested in investigating for the future. So these are the Datathon presentation guidelines, and we will share these with you. So then for the last day on the 3rd of December, that is when you're going to be doing your presentation. We are all going to be here by 8:30. So at 8:30, you all need to be in the main room. We will then check that you have uploaded your presentation onto Nextcloud, that you've also uploaded your source code onto Nextcloud, and then your presentations will start at 9 a.m. So from 8:30 to 9, we will just be checking that you have uploaded everything and everything is ready for the judges. So judging will start at 9 a.m. sharp. We will be sending a schedule on Thursday as to who will go first, second, third, up until the 9th team. So each team is going to get 20 minutes, which will be timed. So the 20 minutes will be 15 minutes for your presentation and then 5 minutes for the questions. And I repeat, you will be timed, so we will be very strict on time. And the timekeeper will notify you when you have 2 minutes and 1 minute. So at those two intervals, the timekeeper will notify you. And all members of the team need to be presenters. So you need to divide the slides amongst each other, and then each team member needs to present. So in terms of general presentation guidelines, if you're looking at the slide, you will pick up some grammar issues, you will pick up incorrect use of fonts, different fonts, and different text sizes. So we want you to be aware of the things that you put on your slides. Make sure that you go through everything, go through your whole slide. Make sure that you've spelt words correctly, that you spelt color correctly, that you spelled font correctly, your voice. But again, let me just go through the slide. So what do you need to remember? You need to speak with conviction and well, you can't really make contact, but we will require that you turn on your video. So for each speaker, they will need to have their video on. So that is how you will be making contact with the audience. Then you need to know your audience and what they're expecting you to deliver. So, I mean, we're here for a datathon. We have given you the guidelines previously of what we expect. So that is the guideline that you can follow in terms of what you need to deliver. You need to keep it simple and to the point, because you are speaking to people of different levels when it comes to maybe data science and the knowledge within that. So make sure that you speak to your whole audience. You need to consider your time allocation. As I said, it's 20 minutes, and also the number of slides that you have to go through within that time allocation. Let me just go back. So if you have 15 minutes, I would not advise that you spend a whole lot of time on the beginning sections of the presentation. The most important parts, I mean, of course, giving us your background and your problem is also important, but the most important part, it is a datathon. So what is important is your data sources, your data analysis and results, and your proposed solution. So when you're planning out your time, make sure that you distribute your time accordingly and that you leave enough time to demo your solution or to go through your analysis and results. Because what we found last year, some of the teams actually spent a lot of time on the background and the objectives, and by the time they had to demo their solution, they were already at the 2-minute mark. And that is not very good, because you don't give the judges a sense of the work that you've done and what your solution actually is. So I ask you that you just plan properly, you allocate your time properly, and you leave enough time to go through the bulk of your presentation, which is your data, how you analyzed it, and your proposed solution. So going back to the slide, you can use relevant images. So make sure you use relevant images or visualizations to convey your message. I think I've highlighted this, that just use fonts that people can see properly, use color that people can see properly, and also text size to make it easier for people to see your slides. There must be flow in your presentation. We've given you a guideline in terms of that. And most importantly, your voice is a tool, so use it. Speak with conviction, speak clearly, and you should be okay when it comes to delivering your presentation. And finally, remember to relax and enjoy. You would have done all this work for 4 days, so you should be proud. And yeah, just enjoy your 20 minutes of fame while you're presenting to the judges and to everyone who is going to be in the room. Thank you.
Take this boy out. Bye-bye, Hanzo. I'm gonna lock this door.
Okay. Nina, will you take over, or should I just continue? I see.
I'll take over. Well, it's really just to invite you to go to the rooms at this point.
Yes. No, I think if there's no questions in terms of the presentation that we just went through, then we can proceed to our room. So when you get to your room, there will be a DIRISA member with you, and you will just do a daily stand-up. So daily stand-up for 5 minutes or less. You will just talk about what you plan to do for the day. And then also in the afternoon at 5, if I'm not mistaken, you will have a debrief again with that same team member that you will have this morning. And you just tell them what, from what you told them in the morning in terms of what you're going to do, what have you achieved, what problems did you have? So that is the plan for today. Also starting at 9, you have all selected, or most of you have selected the person that will be interviewed for the interviews that are going to be held. I think Olani has shared the schedule in terms of who will start at 9, and he will keep calling the relevant person into the room. Okay. So at 9, we'll start with those interviews. So for now, he's allocated 10 minutes for the interviews. Yes, 10 minutes is fine, Olan.
And then, Liz, what I'd just like to urge you to do is don't panic if at any point this does get a little bit difficult, because it is quite a complex process, and just keep being sure that you know what your data is.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. We will see you in the team rooms for the stand up. And then at 9, we'll start with the team interviews here in the main room. So the allocated, person who will be doing the interviews must come into the team room, into the main room, sorry, at the time that has been specified. All right then. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, sorry, Nobele.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm saying roads must be ready at 9, just to assist them.
Yes,
with time. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.